Welcome to this explainer. We've basically been told the exact same thing our entire lives. Save every single paycheck, skip that expensive daily coffee, and absolutely build up that solid emergency fund. But what if everything you've been taught about saving money is really just half the truth? Today, we're going to dive deep into why doing exactly what you're supposed to do, well, it's just not enough to get you where you actually want to be.
And here is the hard truth that almost nobody talks about. Saving money, it could absolutely make you feel safe for sure, but it won't necessarily make you wealthy. Literally millions of hardworking people spend decades doing everything quote-unquote right. They sacrifice, they save, and yet they still stay completely financially stuck. They're unknowingly playing a financial game they were just never taught how to win.
So think about taking a cross-country flight. Buying the ticket is obviously an absolutely crucial first step. That's your savings. It's preparing for the journey. But buying the ticket doesn't actually get you to your destination, does it? You still have to board the plane. Real wealth only begins when your money starts moving, and frankly, working a lot harder than you do.
Part 1. Alex's Financial Realization. The difference between collecting and building.
Okay, to really understand this, let's look at a totally disciplined guy we'll call Alex. He pays his bills, he avoids bad debt like the plague, and he always lives below his means. And this number right here, this represents his absolute rock-solid dedication. $500 every single month, like clockwork. Alex puts exactly $500 straight into a savings account. No luxury vacations, no flashy lifestyle, just steady, relentless saving. Fast forward 5 years, and his hard work pays off. He logs into his bank account, and boom, $30,000 staring back at him. Now, most people would look at that and call it a massive success. But instead of feeling proud, Alex actually feels incredibly anxious. Because despite years of sacrifice, his life hasn't really changed. He's still worried about unexpected expenses, still wondering if a comfortable retirement is actually a reality or just a pipe dream.
But then comes the turning point. He's catching up with an old friend. The topic of money comes up, and his friend hits him with a really simple question. Is your money working, or is it just sitting there? Alex kind of pauses. He always thought saving money and building wealth were the exact same thing, but they aren't. That single question completely shatters his illusion, helping him realize that collecting money and building wealth are actually two completely different games.
Part 2. The Present Bias Trap. The survival software running your brain.
You see, the absolute biggest obstacle to building wealth isn't your salary, and it isn't inflation. It's actually the ancient survival software quietly running in the background of your mind. Psychologists call this present bias. It's basically our natural tendency to value immediate rewards way more than future rewards. And hey, do not feel guilty about this. Your brain is literally hardwired for instant gratification because our ancestors had to focus on immediate needs just to survive the day. Wealth, on the other hand, rewards you later, and our survival software just isn't designed to be patient.
But giving in to that bias comes with a huge cost. Your savings account is designed to protect your money, not multiply it. I like to think of idle cash in a bank like a lazy employee who shows up every single day but does absolutely zero work, quietly losing value to inflation year after year. Deployed capital, though, that is an incredible employee. It's out there working and multiplying your wealth even while you sleep. So once Alex finally understood this trap, he completely stopped hoarding every extra dollar just for that immediate feeling of control. Instead, he started asking a much more powerful question. What can this money become 5, 10, or even 20 years from now? He totally shifted his mindset from purely protecting his cash to viewing it as a really powerful tool that desperately needed to be deployed.
It really all comes down to understanding the two very different jobs that money has. Money's first job? To protect you. That's your emergency fund, your safety net, your peace of mind. But money's second job is to produce more money. Most of us get completely stuck on job number 1. But truly wealthy people, they don't stop at protection. They move aggressively into production by putting their money into investments and ownership.
Playing it safe by delaying your investments is actually a massive financial risk. Think of it like this. Imagine planting 2 identical trees. You plant one today, and you plant another in 10 years. Look, even if you give them the exact same amount of water and sunlight, the first tree is always going to be larger. Not because you tried harder, but simply because it had more time to grow. Time and compound growth are absolute magic, but they're assets you can literally never buy back.
Part 3. 3 Steps to True Wealth. Practical changes to escape the cycle.
All right, so if saving alone isn't going to cut it, how do we actually escape this cycle? Well, there are 3 concrete, immediate changes you can make right now to build true wealth, and you don't even need a higher salary to do it. Step 1, pay yourself first. Step 2, give every dollar a job. And step 3, think in decades. You know, most of us pay everyone else first, the landlord, the credit cards, the streaming subscriptions, and then we try to save whatever scraps are left. We need to reverse that process entirely.
Let's look at step 1. The exact moment you get paid, automatically route a percentage of your income directly toward your future investments before anyone else gets a single dime. By making investing completely automatic, you turn it into a relentless habit rather than a stressful, emotional decision you have to make every month. You just take your present bias completely out of the equation.
Moving to step 2. Before you spend your next paycheck, ask yourself this highly intentional question. What job is this dollar going to do for me? Every single dollar in your bank account should have a clear mission. Some of them are going to protect you in an emergency fund, sure. Others will grow your wealth through long-term investments, and maybe some will even teach you new skills. Because let's face it, money without a clear purpose, it just sort of magically disappears. Finally, step 3. We really have to adjust our timelines. Plant a seed today, but please do not expect a full-grown tree tomorrow. We have got to stop measuring our financial progress in days or weeks and honestly start measuring it in decades. Real wealth is built quietly in the background. It absolutely requires leaning into extreme patience, trusting the process, and completely refusing to chase those quick emotional wins.
Okay, let's check back in on Alex. 5 years after his big realization, his life looked completely different. Now, his income hadn't skyrocketed, and he certainly didn't win the lottery, but his financial trajectory was completely transformed. Why? Because instead of asking, how much money do I have, he started constantly asking, how many dollars are working for me right now? That one single question guided hundreds of small, everyday decisions that compounded massive results over time.
So here's the bottom line. Saving money creates security. Investing wisely creates freedom. You absolutely need both of them to succeed, no question. But confusing one for the other? That is exactly what costs hardworking people years, if not decades, of real financial progress. Remember, your goal isn't just to collect money. Your true goal is to build an entire system where your money creates more money even while you sleep.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with one final provocative thought. What is one financial habit you are going to change starting today? Seriously, are you going to automate those investments? Are you going to sit down and start giving your dollars a specific job? Take some action and make that crucial shift from merely collecting money to truly building wealth. Thank you so much for joining me, and as always, keep that curiosity alive.